Hello everyone, welcome in. My name is Autumn and today I'm going to talk about my quarter 2 TBR. In this stack, I have 7 books that I want to talk to you guys about. The normal list is 6 books, but when I get to the 1 book plus 1, you'll understand why there are 7 books potentially that are going to be on this list. At the end of the video, I actually do have another couple of goals that I'm going to set for myself for reading in this next quarter, but we will talk about those at the end. The first 3 books I'm going to talk about are part of my 12 books in 2025. If you're curious about that list, I will also leave that video linked down below. Nonetheless, let's go ahead and get started on this cute little stack of books. So the first one up that I'm very much excited for is The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo. I am a huge fan of this author. I really have enjoyed pretty much everything that she's written that I have read so far. I won't read the whole synopsis because I do think I have read the full synopsis in another video, but the little tagline says, "Fate can be changed, curses can be broken." It is so gloomy outside. I hope that the visual effects are okay because it is pouring with rain outside and I have 0 natural light. The second book on this list is Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia. I have heard nothing but great things about this book from other people online, but also people in my personal life have loved this book and tell me that I would really love it and I need to give it a shot. After receiving a frantic letter from her newlywed cousin, Naomi heads to the High Palace, a distant house in the Mexican countryside, unsure of what she'll find. Naomi is an unlikely rescuer. She is a glamorous debutante, more suited for cocktail parties than amateur sleuthing, but she's also smart, tough, and not afraid. Not of her cousin's new English husband, a stranger who is both menacing and alluring, not of his father, the ancient patriarch, who seems fascinated by Naomi, and not even the house itself, which begins to invade Naomi's dreams of visions of blood and doom. Naomi's only ally in this inhospitable place is the family's youngest son, but he too may be hiding something dark, for there are many secrets behind the walls of High Place. When she begins to unearth stories of violence and madness, mesmerized by this terrifying and seductive world, Naomi will soon find it impossible to save her cousin or even escape this enigmatic house. Sounds so good. I have heard nothing but wonderful things about this book. The last one is the chunker, but he is coming with strings attached. And this book I feel like I've had on my TBR for 6 months, and it's like every time I have an opportunity to read this book, I either get intimidated because it's such a chunky read or other smaller books grab my attention. And I know I'm gonna love this book. I know I have heard such wonderful things about it. To Sleep in a Sea of Stars by Christopher Paolini. I even posted this book on Instagram a few months ago, wanting to read it during the month that I had planned to read it, you know, like a monthly TBR. Every single time I get so close to reading this book, I kind of chicken out. I am putting it on this list because these are all of the books that I kind of have to get to. So I feel like because it's on this list now, I can't trick myself into not reading this book. It is a chunker. It's like over 800 pages. It's honestly probably going to take me the entire quarter to read, and that's fine. This says, Kira Navarez dreamed of life on new worlds. Now she's awakened to a nightmare. During a routine survey mission on an uncolonized planet, Kira finds an alien relic. At first, she's delighted, but elation turns to terror when the ancient dust around her begins to move. As war erupts among the stars, Kira is launched into a galaxy-spanning odyssey of discovery and transformation. The first contact isn't at all what she imagined, and events push her to the very limits of what it means to be human. When Kira faces her own horrors, Earth and its colonies stand upon the brink of annihilation. Now Kira might be humanity's greatest and final hope. This sounds so good. I know I'm gonna love it. I have no excuses as to why it's taken me this long to read it. Attached to this book, I also have the prequel, which is Fractal Noise. Even though this is a prequel, I've been told that if I like suspense and if I like a little bit of mystery, Fractal Noise, if I read this first, it might take away from the suspense of this one. So I don't think I'm going to read this one first, and that's why I've held off on reading this one. The goal, and I have a feeling that once I finish this book, I'm going to want to immediately read this one. So that's what I'm going to do, and especially with it being so short. All of those books that I just mentioned are coming from the 12 books in 2025. These other 3 books are, I don't want to say random books that I just pulled off of my shelves, but books that I've been really wanting to get to, books that are not maybe necessarily on my 12 books in 2025, but they're definitely books that have been on my radar. Either I'm trying to finish a series, or I'm wanting to start a series, or I've had a book that I've been really wanting to get to, and I decided to throw it on here. So this is the territory we're entering now. The first one up is another Leigh Bardugo, and it is Crooked Kingdom. I did end up reading the first book, Six of Crows, in the first quarter. I really want to dive into this book and to wrap up this series. I won't read the synopsis of this one because it's, you know, the second book in a series. I'm also excited to get to finish this series. I mean, it's always an accomplishment, you know, when we finish series. The next one up is also the fourth book in a series, and it completes a series as well, and it is Wrath by John Gwynne. I've read the first 3 books. It has almost taken me a full year to read this entire series. I think I started reading it in the middle of the summer. It's been taking me like 2 months to read each of these books. And this one looks much larger than the other ones. I'm very excited for this. I cannot freaking wait. We've got a lot of chunky books on here. But the last book on this list, and this book has been on my TBR for quite some time. I bought this book about a year ago, and I think it came out in 2023 or 2024. I read about 30% of this book in the middle of the summer, but I had some family events that had come up in the summer and really took away my enjoyment from reading. The things that were happening in life were just so taxing and exhausting. I just really couldn't concentrate on anything. I ended up soft DNFing this book, and it had nothing to do with the book. It was just a matter of, if I try and finish this book, I'm not going to enjoy it. Soft DNF'd, but we're bringing her back, and this is Wild and Wicked Things by Francesca May. My mom has actually read this book, and one of my other friends on YouTube has read this book too, Brie Bonomo, and both of them say that I will very much enjoy this book. With the 30% of this that I have read, I absolutely agree with them. This is definitely a book that I hated to DNF, but I knew I had to do it in that moment to recover from personal situations that were going on. But the synopsis says, on Crow Island, people whisper that real magic lurks just below the surface. But magic isn't interested in Annie Mason, not after it stole her future. She's on the island to settle her late father's estate and hopefully reconnect with her long absent best friend Beatrice. Yet Crow Island is brimming with temptation, and the most mesmerizing may be Annie's new neighbor, mysterious and alluring Emmeline Delacroix is a figure shadowed by rumors of witchcraft. Soon, Annie is drawn into a glittering world filled with extravagant parties, the world where the boundaries of wickedness are tested and the cost of illicit magic might be death. Francesca May's irresistible debut weaves a tale of dark magic, romance, and murder. I know with the 30% that I read of this story, it was so beautiful. It was a little slow going, I remember, but like, it was fine. I'm really disappointed that it has taken me almost a year to read this book. I am putting it on this list, so hopefully when we see each other in another 3 months, this book will be read. I am sitting here editing this video, and I realized I forgot to talk about the other goals that I had for the second quarter. I also want to say that if I sound like I have a little bit of a lisp, it's because I do. I have Invisalign in. I am still trying to adjust my speech, so some words might sound a little strange, but just bear with me. For the second quarter, something that I am really trying to focus on is not starting any more series. I have 3 series that I'm in the middle of that I'm currently trying to finish. And the first one is The Faithful and the Fallen by John Gwynne. Like I said, I want to finish that 4th book, and that will wrap up that series for me, which is perfect. And then the second series I want to finish is going to be the spin-off of Shadow and Bone, which is trying to finish the Six of Crows series. I actually don't know if that has an official title, that spin-off series, but I definitely want to wrap up that series. If I can, I want to try and finish the Mistborn trilogy by Brandon Sanderson. I am currently on the 2nd book out of that trilogy. I'm about halfway through it, and my goal would be to potentially try and finish that series this quarter, and if not, then definitely in the 3rd quarter of 2025 I would like to finish that. My last goal, which I totally forgot to mention this book in my wrap-up, I did not finish one of the required books that I wanted to read in the 1st quarter, so whenever that happens, I just have to tack that book on to the next quarter and prioritize it a lot more than any of the other books, and it is Book Lovers by Emily Henry. This book was on my TBR for the first quarter and I did not end up getting to it. It is going back on to the list for the second quarter. And those are the other goals I wanted to mention that I clearly just threw out the window. As soon as I got to the end of my stack of books, I was like, okay, cool, we're done, see you later. But that was not the case because I forgot to add the other goals. But now I'm finished and I will send you back to little innocent Autumn, who forgot to add this part in for the goodbye. Those are all of the books that I have on this list for my quarter 2 TBR for 2025. Let me know if I have put any books on your radar. Let me know if you have read any of those books that I talked about here today. And also let me know one book that is going to be on your TBR for this upcoming quarter. But thank you guys so much for watching this video and I will see you in the next one. Bye.